Hello, Amanda.
Hello, Shikha. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So, how was the first session of Espousal Online South Africa?
It
Great.
was absolutely wonderful. I had three lovely ladies. We had a lot of laughs talking about
Right.
planning
We
the
could
wedding.
definitely see that.
We had a fantastic session there. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. Yeah. So
That
now
is
we're
nice. So,
into
everyone, for everyone who would have just tuned in now, this is the third session of the day. And this is Amanda Cunningham for you from the Wedding Expo. She has been in the event industry for 25 years now, and Amanda has had careers in property, public relations, events, and exhibitions. Wonder Woman, isn't she? She's also a mom to one child and is a seasoned entrepreneur. So, welcoming you, Amanda Cunningham, to Espousal Online South Africa, and we're honored to have you here.
thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much for being here, and the stage is all
Thank you.
yours while the panelists come in.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, we've got Charmaine Banks, who's connected in. Arun Bablani, hello. Christina Holt is here, and Timo Bolte is here. So
Hello,
wonderful to have you all with us.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, thank you for having
You can
us.
all hear correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm good.
So, hello. So before we go any further, let me introduce everybody quickly. We'll start with Christina Holt. Christina is the founder and MD of Wedding Concepts, which is a full-service wedding planning business which handcrafts luxury bespoke weddings. Christina is a leading luxury wedding expert, and she has an A-list of clients from around the world, and she is highly regarded in South Africa and indeed the world. Timo Bolte. Timo, you create amazing experiences for people. You've traveled the globe to design some of the most lavish events. Your floral designs have won you the hearts of celebrities and even royalty, and they are truly spectacular. Amazing stuff. Thank you. To the Moore Family Concierge, we've got Charmaine Banks here. Charmaine, I'm right in saying that your company was founded in April 2001, and I believe you started with one lodge then. You now have 6 lodges and 6 hotels stretching from the Cape to Victoria Falls.
Correct.
Really spectacular luxury lodges. I've had a look at them all. They all look absolutely superb.
Thank you.
And to Arun, welcome to joining us. Arun is from Dubai, so nice to meet with you. He has over 12 years experience as a luxury wedding planner, and he ensures that every single wedding that he does is a paragon of perfection. So we could not have a better group of people to be talking about destination weddings and weddings in general than the people with me on the stage today. So welcome to everybody. We are talking destination weddings. And Christina, I know this is a subject you and I have discussed at length in the past. And, you know, a year ago, none of us thought we would go through what we've just gone through. And the wedding industry was, I remember talking to you when we did the report, that destination weddings were exploding around the world. Has that, I mean, obviously we haven't had many destination weddings in the last year. They're going to come back. Will they come back with the same excitement and fever that we've seen before? I do believe they will myself, but I'd love to hear from all of you as experts on this subject.
Well, I can start. Hi, everyone. It's really nice to be here today and sharing the panel with all of you wonderful, very prestigious entrepreneurs and industry friends. To answer your question, Amanda, I mean, none of us has a crystal ball, but if I look at what we've seen over the last year, which obviously initially was a big dip, and now we've all come out of the first trauma and are making plans for 2021, later in 2021 and into 2022. And what I can say with our clientele being largely global clients, international, coming into Africa and into Southern Africa, that the desire to have celebrations just like before, the destination weddings, is unchanged. And those who were basically forced, didn't have another choice to, postpone, they are just doing that. They're postponing. So we've had a few clients who've postponed by 2 years, which from a business point of view might not be ideal for us. But in terms of the desire being there and unchanged, it is an interesting thing. So we are seeing and I'm literally talking from people all over the world, hoping to come to South Africa at the end of this year and then into 2022 and beyond.
Okay. And for the rest of you, Charmaine, I mean, you must see a lot of international clients through all of your venues. And of course, you will also have had a lot of postponements and perhaps cancellations. What does the future hold for you on that?
You know, Amanda, I think what we've seen is due to COVID, it gave people a lot of time to sit and reconnect as a family or potential couple. So we find that they are spending far more time researching and investigating what the options are. So it goes hand in hand with what Christina's saying from an international point of view. They are coming through, and they most definitely will even see delayed weddings where they did a mock wedding in their own country and then they come to us and do the grand ceremony at a later stage. So it's very exciting actually to pick up the individuals that we are seeing coming through have really put thought into it. And the nice part of us trying to live up to one of our values of exceeding everybody's expectations, and we are a family, it's so nice to partake in that memorable event right now.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, South Africa. Obviously, we've got endless amounts of wonderful places for people to get married. And that's not only international. We're talking about local South Africans who might live here in Gauteng, but choose to get married in the bush or in the Cape or wherever they get married in. Where is the perfect place? Where is the perfect destination in South Africa? Or is there none? Is there not one? Are they all perfect?
Who's going to answer that one? Okay, I'll just let you know as briefly as I can that to me it's all about who the couple is. Who is the couple? What do they want to experience? And in that sense, the sheer diversity of locations we've got here, whether it's bush, beach, urban, boutique, large, winelands. I mean, there's such a vast variety, and all of them are geared up to delivering to such a high standard of celebrations that I think, it is a very, very hard choice. And I'd be hard pressed to name a few specific ones, but ultimately it is about what the client wants. Do they want a safari experience, for example, with a Moor group and their beautiful properties? Are they more into something urban? Do they want to get married in Joburg or, coastline, the famous winelands? There isn't any right or wrong. It's about teasing out what the clients are really after.
I think if I
and in a destination wedding, yes, yeah.
Sorry, if I could elaborate, South Africa as a destination, just your backdrop for your actual event is amazing. You can choose from mountains, bush, beach, and urban, city, winelands. So I think you've got the automatic gallery behind you without doing anything.
Very true. I think when you're if looking at it let's just say you're planning in the bush, you're having to take, rather than just being in a venue in a city, you're now potentially having to move huge amounts more of the flowers, maybe the backdrop, i.e. tables, chairs, cutlery, crockery. Maybe they want to get married in a riverbed. The logistics of all of that. That's where you as wedding planners come in with all of this, Arun and Timo, because you've also got to make sure that those flowers are in the right setting, they don't wilt. How challenging is all of that?
Well, is it a challenge or is it a passion? That's a question, because I see it as a canvas. So you have this beautiful surrounding, the setting, the bush or whatever. So you just build a tent with open walls or a glass tent just to bring the outside inside. So there's the question, do we really need so much decor, or are we just happy with what we are with having this beautiful sunset? Or are we going the opposite direction and going with an overload inside? Of course, African bush, we always have to think about, do we really want to use flowers? It's hot, especially in a tent, it's even hotter. So we have to go for silk flowers. Do you really want to go for silks, or you want to go for natural flowers? Do we want to work organic, or we want to work what's the thing the couples want to do? Also, if we think about candelabra with all the candles, don't
Timo, I
forget
think
they are
you've
melting
muted
during the day.
yourself. Are
So
you
when
there?
we have, pardon?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Am I gone?
Okay, I can't hear anybody else for some reason. Perhaps
Timo,
our
I can
back
hear you.
end can help me on this because I can't hear anybody.
Can the rest of you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, good. Good.
just
Hello?
fine.
Good.
Okay, I've got to
So,
mute all of you. Hello, everybody.
yeah.
Right, I've got a problem. I can't hear any of you. Okay, let's take this out.
So let's just continue for a second then.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then if we think about, for example, if we think about having like nice candelabras, candle installations, we always have to think about that we have to place them in the very last moment because candles going to melt. If we have the candlesticks, they're all going to be a bit bendy and all these things. So we have to think about those things. If you think about the cakes, how can we storage and cool the cake so the icing is not melting? What can we bring in the bush from the kitchen wise, from the food, from the entertaining? How about fireworks? Can we do fireworks, or is it a dry season? Are we going to start a bushfire then in the African bush? So there's so
You
many
would.
things we really have to
You
think
would.
about.
We can't have fireworks.
So, but if you plan a destination wedding, and if you are not aware about this, so maybe some couples have the illusion they can go for it. So that's why a wedding planner designer is coming in. They have to know the legalities, the possibilities. Also have then the knowledge how can we do it. Also think about toilets and kitchen space. It's not about the things you see on the photo. There is so much back stuff behind the storage for the musicians, the changing room, kitchen, toilets. If you are in the bush, which is amazing, but bring 200 or 300 people on a toilet. So you have to bring the toilets there. There's so many things to think about, but it's a canvas, so it's a challenge. It's something exciting. To be honest, I prefer having a blank canvas, a tent in a bush or in the beach, rather than having a venue. I don't know how you see it, girls, but it's more unique and more spectacular, is it?
I think listening to you, Timo, and I think something that a lot of brides might not take on board is that a wedding is a major production, and what you've just described is a major production. And I think that making sure that you've got the right people in the background to be doing all these things, so that there aren't any hiccups with the special day. I mean, Arun, let's just bring you in here because I know that you have done some amazing destination weddings. I mean, can you give us a bit about some of the weddings that you've done and where you've done them?
Sure. So we've been in the business for the last 9 years, and since the last 6 years, we started getting into destination weddings. We picked up our business with Southeast Asia first. So we did weddings in Thailand, we did weddings in Malaysia, we did weddings in Bali, and then we moved on to Europe. So we did weddings in Paris, we've done weddings in Italy, we've done weddings in Portugal, Turkey. Obviously, this is our market locally here. So recently speaking, we've done weddings in Bahrain, in Oman, in Kuwait, in obviously the UAE, and hopefully with time we'll be doing weddings in Saudi Arabia. So we've a vast array of destination weddings we've worked on. And to answer your earlier question, when it comes to destination weddings, I think finding the perfect destination depends on 3 factors that we at least speak to our clients about. The first one being the weather. So do you want to do a nice weather wedding in the winter where there's snow-capped mountains, or on a nice mountaintop like in Switzerland, or whether you want to do a summer wedding like we've done in chateaus in Italy or in France. So that plays one big role, followed by budgets. Budgets play a massive role when it comes to destination weddings. Now, whether you want to, like I said earlier, whether you want to do a nice chateau in France and spend a few €100,000 and have a few hundred people, or if you want to do something smaller where you go to Thailand and do a nice wedding in the Sheraton Hotel in Hua Hin. The third would be logistics. I think that plays a massive role as well when it comes to destination weddings. How far is the destination you're looking for? And Dubai being a classic example of a central location around the world. We're essentially we're like 8 hours away from 2/3 of the world. And we have direct accessibility and direct flights from all over the world. So these three are the most important things when it comes to destination weddings, whether be it here or be it anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. So that brings me on to a question, which is what are the legalities of a destination wedding? You know, if someone is planning to get married here in South Africa, what do they require, you know, from a legal point of view?
Yeah.
And Edwina, we'll get to your question in a moment.
So I think generally, if we look at destinations across the world, obviously legalities are unique to every country. And it's very possible, and it's not difficult, to actually legally get married in South Africa. However, there is a little bit of research to be done because, you know, there's a little bit of red tape here and there as to what one needs to be aware of. And it's worth investigating that beforehand. So what we find, just to summarize in a nutshell, a lot of our clients get married abroad in their home countries legally, and do the blessing and the ceremony and the reception and all of that here. And that is to just avoid a number of bureaucratic steps that they will have to take if they legally get married here. But it's absolutely possible. It just takes a bit more time and a bit more admin.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. One of the other things that, and Christina, you and I think that you brought this up actually, is that the wedding industry has been termed as tourism's golden goose, and tourism is a natural offshoot of destination weddings because, you know, it's not just the bride and groom and the immediate perhaps family. It may well be 100 or 200 guests or 50 guests or whatever it is, and those guests are booking hotels and block bookings, they're booking travel arrangements, they're booking car rental. You know, this produces a whole new avenue that is now for this destination wedding. And, you know, for the hotels, and especially for you, Charmaine, you know, you've then got to accommodate guests in your own hotel and potentially perhaps other hotels near you. How does that all, how you know, putting that all together? Christina, I know you do this, and I know you work with Charmaine on this.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. We looked at this particular development, which started many years ago, as a business opportunity. So what we have added to our wedding planning and design expertise is a focused travel team that offers exactly that service. So basically, we know that if we have a wedding, say, of 100 people from abroad, that, you know, most of them, maybe not all of them, but most of them will come for an extended period of time, sometimes 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks. And what are they going to do in that time? So not only would we be looking after in a very personal way, which is sort of our signature service, the family and the couple, but also the extended guest portfolio, if that's what the clients would like us to do. And a lot of them take us up on the offer, because what it means is like one central team is literally aware of what the vast majority of their guests are planning. And that comes in very handy when it comes to even around the wedding weekend and an extended 3-4 day period. Arun will be the expert on, you know, having multi-day celebrations across the world. And we're seeing that trend here. So it really is, it is a service that to me is naturally linked to planning a luxury wedding. Whether it's big or small, but that service element around the hospitality, but it could be as simple as doing a restaurant booking. And some people ask us to do 2-week itineraries across Africa. So the scope is, it can be anything, but it's very, very wise to, and also to partner, if that's not what one offers, to partner with maybe a business, you know, in the respective country to offer that.
Yeah, but also on the other side, I mean, I was planning a workshop with Exclusive Events, who will be with me tomorrow, and we were planning a workshop. And the most people who are coming to Africa for being a guest or being the couple are coming there for the first time. So they have expectations, they're excited, and they want to see the cliches, they want to see the beaches, they want to see the bush, they want to see animals. So when we were planning the workshop, was clear we're going to make the workshop as short as possible. Plus, we're going to make this tour to see at least a few animals and to have a night in the bush and something, because this is people what they are coming for. So if I think I want to go to Africa, I want to see something from the country. And if it's not in the wedding itself, already provided as a guest, I do it on my own. And so I need these services, but because this is what I'm coming for. I want to see these spectacular things which are unique in Africa. That's why I'm coming. It's not only about the beautiful sunset. It's also nice in Australia, beautiful sunset. But Africa has so much impact and so much interesting things. That's why people are coming for.
Correct. I mean, I think that's the beauty of any destination wedding in the world, really, that you want to tap into the heartbeat of that country, and you want to experience the flavors, the sounds, the sights, and we see that very, very strongly. And I think all of us do, because whether you go to Thailand or to Italy, that's what you want to experience.
Absolutely.
From
and
our side,
you've got all,
No, I just wanted to enhance on that. It's exactly what Christina and Timo outlined. We find, and I think it's an exciting part, with us having a concierge division, is exactly what it says. So, majority, obviously, the whole audience comes for the event. But bear in mind, you've got people that are seasoned travelers. So they've probably been to South Africa, and now they're taking the opportunity to go to Botswana. Or the others, from a logistic point of view, with our Lion Sands Game Reserve in the Mpumalanga, a lot of people choose to go to Mozambique because it's an hour flight from Nelspruit through to there. So you end up, and I think that is also the beauty of the whole thing to do with weddings, you end up fulfilling a lot of people's dreams, whether it's their second time around.
Yes.
But they love doing bush and Cape Town. So just to be part of it and actually creating the journeys for every single individual who has come for this memorable event is truly exciting.
So Christina, Charmaine, I was going to say to you that you've got all these venues, and they've all got their own factor of what makes them so unique. One of the things I was going to ask just now was if a bride and groom have decided they want to get married in a destination venue, but they may not necessarily have visited there before. So how have they chosen the place that they want to be, and how do you show them what it's got and what it's available? I mean, now a year on of Zoom meetings and all the technology that we've actually brought to the platform of actually every business, it perhaps makes it a bit easier to do a walk through the venue and to show them exactly what you've got. But who visits the venue if the bride and groom don't prior to the wedding?
Well, I mean, we would naturally on their behalf. We're very involved. We're very involved in that process, and I think the key is that the destination clients ideally team up with someone like ourselves or a professional company to help them find the most suitable location. Because as beautiful as a location is, whether ultimately it's suitable for the couple for the right flow and the right look, the right size. I mean, there are so many considerations. What is included, what's excluded? Can we have a marquee? Can't we have a marquee? There are a million questions. So they really are relying on someone to give them all that information and also illustrate it from a financial point of view as well. So that's often the starting point, that it's all the beautiful things, but then it's also like, what does that mean financially? Timo was talking about marquees in the bush and all of that. It really is a budget concern that one needs to start with, or some general information.
Yeah, I think that's the last part of it, is you can keep it as simple as possible, or you
absolutely
put all the bells and whistles for the event. So it's really tailor-made. With regards to seeing the venue before, yes, let's go back to the new world that we're in, and that's virtual. So we do offer 360-degree videos on our More sites. Go to good old TripAdvisor and get references and, you know, make use of all these facilities available to you. And you'll very soon pick up if the product is for you or it shouts out to you or not.
I agree.
Well, I guess at least you can shortlist on that note with Charmaine. Even if you don't pick the venue online in this world of technology and 3D viewing and 360 viewings, in our case, most of the times we then do these Zoom calls and we do these viewings online, and we help them narrow and figure out what they resonate with, and they pick maybe 2 or 3 out of the 10 we show them. And then at some point when they're available to fly down, the bride and groom fly down, or the family flies down, and we can physically take them to those venues. And obviously, you wouldn't buy a house without visiting it, or you wouldn't adopt a puppy without first spending time with it, or you wouldn't buy a car without test driving it. On the same note, I guess just 360 views and virtual tours are not enough. It does solve the current problem we have, but with time, I think that touch and feel is extremely important to find the right kind of venue.
Absolutely.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think most products do. They offer what we call the site visits. So it's quite natural for people to come and visit prior.
So we had a question here from Edwina, who said that obviously Mauritius and the Indian Ocean Islands are very popular destinations to get married and to have honeymoons. Are these areas that you've all worked in? I presume you have. I mean, I would think that they've been. I know they're closed to us now, but they will open again.
Yeah, correct.
No, absolutely. The islands offer phenomenal wedding opportunities. And again, with South Africa being where we are located, you have a vast array of islands, Mauritius, Seychelles, Reunion, private islands in Mozambique, mainland in Mozambique, Zanzibar. So again, the choice is phenomenal, and it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, you know, as you've all alluded to. I mean, there are just so many amazing places to host a wedding. I mean, how lucky are all those wonderful brides that they have those opportunities afforded to them.
The problem on those islands, I just faced it recently because I've been working on a proposal for a bride, and that's why I'm talking with Yes Exclusive again, is, for example, sourcing the flowers, because there are so many restrictions, what is allowed, what is not allowed. So you have to have a local florist who is sourcing the flowers. So, for example, I can't ship directly from the Netherlands or from South Africa. From the ship, it's too expensive. It takes too long because it can't be cool. From the airplane, it's quite expensive because there's just 1 or 2 flights per day. Then it has to be packed on another flight. And so if you think about going on an island, don't think too flowery or too imported, for example, because it's still an island. So you have to import everything. So whatever you want for cake, for entertainment, for flowers, for whatever, has to be imported. And there is so many restrictions and guidelines you have to be aware in front. So that from our original flower concert, which was massive, I really went down because it's just not affordable or just too difficult to organize. Then there are flowers which are not allowed to import because they have to use their own from blah blah blah. So it was so if you think about island, please definitely get a planner or someone who has experience, because as a bride you never will be able to organize such ballast of documents.
Gosh, Timo, that's amazing, because that's something I would never have even considered, to be honest with you. That would be the furthest thing from my mind. So that's fantastic advice for the brides out there. I mean, there must be I suppose, perhaps some other things. If you are using a venue or destination like one of the islands, I presume that you would also link up with local vendors, because you would need to do so.
Yeah, but if you think about, for example, you want something unique, some iron structure, something bespoke, some printed walls, etc., etc. you have to find, because it's an island with a hotel and something around. The staff there is not really used to those design concepts if you want to be different. And also the staff and the customs is not used to import like all the amount of bamboo or iron things. So there will be difficulties as well, because he has to ask his boss. His boss is not here. He's on blah blah blah. Yeah, we know how the mentality is.
So Christina, this is for you, Simon.
All of this is absolutely true. And I think that the consideration that something exotic and remote always means you have to remain flexible to a point with how you started to where you end off. And that doesn't mean it's not doable, but all those challenges will come your way, especially when it comes to cross-border situations that need to be organized. That comes with a whole lot of specifics and ultimately, for me, when we do a destination, it's all about the collaboration part. And I mean, we all know this from all these different conferences that we've attended around the world. It is a whole big destination family out there. So, if I want to work in Dubai, I would be ringing Arun and say, can we work on this together? I would hope that Timo, when he comes to South Africa, he would do the same. So it's that kind of thing, that we work with local experts, because we aren't those experts. We can't be the experts everywhere in the world. So it's the team that makes it possible. And for all the brides out there who might be listening, I think that is the key, that you get a core team who are all experts in what they do and who can actually deliver in whatever destination you've chosen. That's really the key.
Yeah.
Christina, I completely agree with you.
The last year,
Sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
No, you go ahead.
So the other thing that, and I agree with Christina 100%, and that's how destination weddings work. Collaboration and associations are the most important aspect of any destination wedding. But the other thing that we do when it comes to a destination wedding is having an association with the tourism board. So having someone who can then guide you in the right direction to help you with legal matters. I remember when we did our destination wedding at Disneyland Paris. It was the first of its kind that was done for the first time in 26 years. And even though the Disneyland Paris team was extremely helpful, they want to do everything in their power to help out. But there's so much red tape. There's so much of the unknown. And we had the Paris Convention Bureau, the French tourism, not only in France, but also French tourism in the UK, because that's where the family was for. And because this was the Indian wedding, and where the French tourism based out of India, which is called the Tour France, where we were all collaborating to ensure that whatever hurdles came our way, we tried to solve it together, and everybody used their connections to ensure that this turned out to be a successful wedding. It took almost 9 months and a lot of emails back and forth. But if the intention is right and everybody wants to get that amazing wedding going, that collaboration plays a massive role. So absolutely 100%.
Absolutely. What an incredible wedding to have done, Arun. I mean, it sounds amazing. I know that you're going to be talking on that subject later in the program, so I look forward to listening to it. But I mean, what a function to have done. Wow. So a question I always love to ask, because I always like to know, usually at this time within the last year, I've seen a plethora of weddings. I've been sent lots of real weddings, and I've managed to see what the themes are and the colors and everything. But what are the trends? What are the trends at the moment? 2021, 2022, what's really hot and what's really not hot? Christina?
Am I starting? Okay. I think we're seeing a continuation, to be quite honest with you, from what I would have said were the trends from last year, just because people couldn't actually execute that. And so they may have just refined a few things a little bit. So if I had to pick a couple, for us here, it's very much about a greenery aspect and the suspension aspect and ceiling architecture. So that for us has remained very, very strong. The interpretation there can vary. We also seeing a trend, if I just talked about colors, with sort of strong monochromatic colors. So we're doing a lot of black, a lot of dark blue, sort of strong contrasts, which is very exciting. Another trend I want to point out is more about the interactivity on the day, which is really how you interact with your guests and the experience that you want to create between you and everybody attending. So lots of really beautiful, interesting ideas and being a little bit more immersive and inclusive, even to the point where you set up the ceremony in a completely different way, for example, that the guests are like participating almost in the way they're seated. So that's just a few things to...
Would also include now bringing in the video links for those people that can't be there.
Absolutely, and we're seeing it. Yes, completely. And maybe lastly from me, just to round it off then, is just the personalization aspect is huge. I mean, it has to be personal to the couple, and it can be the smallest thing. It can be something that you find printed on the menu, or it can be down to those fine details, but that aspect, it could be building some structures, customizing some tables, that haven't been done before. So, I mean, the sky's the limit there. That's budget dependent, but as long as it's really usually personal, that's a trend to stay for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And Timo, for you, I mean, what are you seeing in the trends at the moment?
Well, I see a big trend coming up is entertainment, like living sculptures, art, people who just have a decorative aspect, who just walk around and are pretty in amazing costumes, dances, performances. I see this very big coming. And we see everything comes back. And if we see the last 1920s, after the Spanish flu, people were always dressed like they are going to a party. And I see this coming again. So we have the same situation. So the Spanish flu was over and people had a crazy party all the time, the roaring 20s. And now the roaring 20s are coming back again because people still want to celebrate. People still want to go crazy. If we have a look now, what happened in Miami last week, people went crazy on the streets. I mean, we don't have to go crazy like this, but I really can see when in London the pubs are opening in 2 weeks. People up on the afternoon going to be dead on the street again, like how the British can drink. I don't want to make this nightmare situation. I just say people want to be entertained. People want to go out. People want to dance and celebrate life, and even more on events and weddings. So I see a lot of entertainment factor, a lot of dancing, drinking, it's not basically about decoration. I see more the event part and the happening part in events coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're social beings and we can't wait to travel again. I mean, Charmaine, you must see this with all of your venues that, people are just desperate to get back to traveling again.
Yeah. And interesting enough is this, I think there's a lot of quirkiness coming through as well. For example, we did a wedding for 120 people recently, and the bride and groom and the minister was in the bush, and we parked all the game vehicles around it, and the people stayed in the game vehicles, and that was their seating throughout the ceremony. So, and it's fun.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love that. I think that's amazing, really amazing. And Arun, from you, any parting words there of what you're seeing happening?
I think my colleagues here have pretty much covered everything, but the only difference is we usually focus on the big 3 to 4 day South Asian weddings that go on, and they're these big budgets. And the one thing that we have, even though we talk about it at conferences, and the truth of the matter is, when it comes to sustainability and recycling, it is not one of our major fortes. Also, one of the main reasons for that is storage costs here in the Middle East are very high, and the cost of storing something is sometimes higher than actually producing it. Also, a lot of it goes into dumping grounds. So what I've seen since the last year, because the weddings have become slightly smaller, brides are more focused on sustainability and recycling the items. The other thing is global is the new local. So we're focusing more on local talents, local artisans. And the third thing that Christina also brought up is personalization. Even though we're used to personalizing weddings, and this is something that is a very integral part of destination in weddings, personalization has gone to a whole different level since the last 12 to 18 months, where because the weddings are smaller, 100, 150 people, everything is personalized. So I think these are the trends that we've been using for the last and following for the last maybe year, 18 months. And I see that trend going on for at least 12 more months.
Yeah.
I know, Christina, you've also spoken about that being, bespoke and personalized, and that is absolutely the way that people are looking at things, which I think is just, it's fantastic that.
Yeah, and creating, I think overall, and that's the word we all sort of use, and it's really about the experience. It's creating that, for the clients and for the guests, whether it's a day or 3 or 5 or a whole week. It's that.
Yeah.
It's them walking away with an experience that happens to be woven around a wedding.
Yeah. So in closing, then, what advice have you got, Christina? You've said that you've had some brides who've postponed for 2 years. We're hoping that, and we've got a reprieve here at the moment in South Africa, and that the market is open at the moment because we're on level 1. We are not sure what's going to happen, but we hope that we're going to continue. But what advice do you have for those brides who have had to postpone or cancel, as to moving forward with their plans?
They just should. I'm positive. I see the silver lining, and if anybody is desperate to have a small celebration right now, maybe that's an option for them to do, just to sort of like trim things back and have a larger celebration later on. But for me, it's sort of keep positive. Things are changing. We are seeing it. Plan just as you would have done. And if, a month or 2 before you see that you have to cut your guest numbers a little bit, then unfortunately that's what you'll have to do, but still carry on. So I think
just go ahead, do a smaller celebration.
Yes, or do 2 of them. Do a really small one now, so you can actually get married. If that's what the focus is. Life carries on, and the desire to get married carries on, and a point comes where you don't want to postpone again or whatever. So it's all about having that mindset of just cracking on with life and your plans.
None of us could have seen this, and I think out of all of this has come so many wonderful opportunities. And I think we just, as you say, move forward, carry on, and set on that path that they want to go on. We've got lots of brides and grooms who are just very ready to be married. So go for it.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. It has been so lovely chatting to you all, and to hear your opinions on everything to do with destination weddings and trends and tourism. And I think to everybody who's been listening to us, it's been a fantastically informative talk. So thank you. I look forward to connecting with you all over the next 2 days. And good luck in all the next planning and all the brides and grooms that you're going to be working with over the next months and couple of years.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It was lovely having you.
Thank you, guys, from everywhere.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.